When you go to install dropper post on this is a Giant 22 Talon 2, but any bike that's going to have an interference issue, you need to measure this, and there's a few different measurements online. And it all depends on the frame size and your rider height and all what you're trying to do. I have a feeling this is going to drop too much. Probably could have got away with 100 versus the 125, but that's what we got here. So the problem is now I'm back to the same long seat tube length. And you can see if I drop this thing all the way into here, which I need to, because if I put my seat post on at normal ride height, bring it to this line here, and I set this collar down on here, this is actually 3/16 of an inch, 3, 4, or 5 millimeters, something like that. I don't speak. I do the King's measurements. That's just what's normal to me, so I can't see in metric. But anyways, it's about the width of the seat real high. So that little bit of height, I probably won't even notice. I think my saddle's a little low from where I marked this new way, so that'll probably be good. So that you don't want to make sure it's too high. That's the first thing. The second thing is if you have a medium or a small frame like this, and you're gonna have an interference issue down here, I'm gonna have this interference issue with this all the way in. Now, when I bought this post, this is the Transx YSP15. It's what am I doing here? No. This piece here, I got to looking at, and down, it's threaded all the way along the bottom here. So, in its normal position, I don't know how well you guys can see that. I'll put my put an Allen wrench on here. So that's the seat tube. You see how it's kind of clocked off at an angle? It's actually going to hit as it comes in, and I'm going to have an interference issue. I put a piece of tape on here and kind of gently checked it and measured it out. And that's what led me to staring at the bottom of this, because if you pull this collar off, it's just the sanction tube and the seal and everything. You can't do anything there. Just a bolt on top. If you loosen that bolt up, you can't turn anything. So there's no way to change the clocking. But I got to looking at that, and there's threads under there. So I should have protected it a little better, but I didn't. And I just grabbed this and pulled it loose with better protection here. And I actually broke it loose. And you can thread this thing off some. I want to get too crazy, but you could look down in there. What we're going to do is we're going to add a little drop of Loctite onto there. Well, she's got enough on there, I believe. Just don't want it to come unthreaded and bind up on the saddle. Light in my face, trying to give you guys a better view. So I'm going to run it all the way in. That's the front of my saddle. That's what's going to interfere. Front of the saddle, that's what's going to interfere. That's all the way tight going this way. So I'm going to back it off this way till I get clearance. Oh, right there. So there and there. And if I come up and check it, drop it in. Click. Goes all the way to the collar. Check that out. Kind of disappointed at how the cable came just out. Been trying to massage it some, but it's not the prettiest, and it's probably too long, so hopefully I can pull one of these barrels off. But it's internally routed. It's pretty much the way this thing works. Is it's an office chair. There's the barrel end goes into here. You have a nut that goes through this ring, and so when you pull on the lever here, that I've installed already, and this is not quite right, and I'll probably get excited at the 3D printer, but it'll at least be functional for now. You pull on the lever, it pulls on the cable, and that pops this little thing down, and when it does that, and it's real difficult to see, but there's that little pin in there that lifts that pin up, and it's kind of a neat 2-bar system, so it pushes that pin straight up. I just enjoy the mechanics of that personally, how they do that. So what we have going on here is the frame tube. I'm going to run it down this tube and then up the seat post. I have a nice old cut out fitting there. People have got away doing it online without removing the bottom bracket, but support your local bike shop. I just went ahead and pulled my bottom bracket and it cranks off. So what I'm gonna have to do here is, I think the easiest way to do this is gonna be able to come down the top tube. I'm gonna thread it in the hole there, come down here, try to make this U-turn, catch it out of here, you know what? I don't know, 6 to 1, half the other, because I still got to catch it out of this hole. Maybe. Yeah, let's just shove it down in here and see what happens, right? And this, let's see, it needs to go into here. And then down, down, down. Alright, well, you guys didn't tell me, but there's these little plugs in the frames. If I pull them out, and I look down with my handy dandy everyday carry flashlight, I can see the cable. So what I'm going to do is give her a pinch-a-roo kind of low. I can't really talk to you guys and do this, but I'm trying to line it up. Actually, we did. And that's why when you guys do this stuff, don't get excited, don't get pissed off. Remember, this is fun. If it's not working right and you're getting frustrated, and you know, I'll write it on the internet. It took me 2 days to do this. You know, it sucks when you can't ride your bike, but don't get mad, don't destroy stuff, don't make it take 2 days. I don't always recommend being as impatient as I am, and you know, sometimes it's nice to wait and have the proper tools for it. So now I got this, and this might prove to be a challenge, but I have an idea if I can't get it to snake around this hole real quick. And you know what? We're just going to do the idea because you guys are hanging out, and I want to show you this cool idea. So let's do it. Alright, so my way cool hack is I just want to reach down and have something to hook the end of my cable with. So, I'm going to make a tool here. Coat hangers are handy for everyone. I hope that you have at least have some coat hangers around. I'm not the best at using them, but yeah. And so we're just going to make a little tool, kind of how I measured, just whamski bamski. And what we want here, and it's already kind of pre-made, is just a little loop ski to pick up our cable, drag it out the top. And as always, use tools. Don't get excited and don't use your teeth. I just cringe so much over that. Eye protection. Yeah, I'm really quite amazed at how scratched up my glasses are. It's like boom. So anyways, we got a hole that looks to be yep. We want it just big enough to go through, and it'll go through with the little barrel end on. Shove this down in, and what we're going to try to do is pick up the end of our cable that are just dropped because I got too excited here. What did I just say about getting excited? I was trying to give you guys a little idea of what I got going on here. So now I got to carefully do a trick of pulling up on this while backing this off just enough so it makes that corner. But the trick is pulling it up enough that when you hit the point where I think I just did, you start feeding it actually back. So it makes the turn and points up, because what it's doing is you have it looked here and it's hooked on the bottom bracket and the shell and everything, the cable you have coming down and your hooking tools here. So you have to back it up so it can make this corner, but as soon as you feel it make that corner, you want to start pushing so you feed your housing back up, and that's the point I believe I'm at now. So we're just going to fish, fish, fish. And like I said, don't get excited, don't get worried. You got to kind of support it because like I have this rubbery thing going on here. I need to make sure all my force is going in here. Give it a little, oh, you know what, I have a suspicion what it's doing right now. This is actually hung up on, look in here. Actually, it's kind of caught up on the vent tube for the top tube. There we go. So all the tubes have to have a vent to atmosphere, or condensation will build up in them. Actually, you can't weld something that's a solid tank. It won't. You will never get a good weld on it. Alright, and our tool out of here. Our cable to the top. Now this is the point where we need to size up, excuse me, how long we want our dropper cable to be. Route it up as it's going to be routed. The lever comes with this guide ferrule thing, which is pretty nice. The trick about it is it's adjustable in here, so you want to not bend the little Teflon tube like I did, but if you put your finger on this inner bit and spin it counterclockwise, it'll extend out. So because the cables will stretch and everything, pretty much I'm going to set it up where it's all the way in. Sometimes you do it just a, you know, we'll do that. We'll just do all the way in, just a quarter turn or so out. It's kind of hard to feel. My hand's starting to get a little greasy, so quarter, half, somewhere in there, just so it's not all the way out. We only have 2 or 3 turns to this whole thing in general. So we want to take our inner cable, unwind that, and to kind of measure this whole thing, you want to put everything together like it's going to be in its running position and have enough slack. I'm pretty happy with it right there. And what I want to do is look down my top tube, or my seat tube, get that out of me. My housing's ending up about here, but the bottom of my mount is here, where my housing's going to go into this little plastic thing. So we got to take all that out of here so we don't end up with 4 foot of loop hanging out front. So what I'm going to do is go get a tape measure. And with this tape measure, we're going to do a little bit of math. So if my housing's in a position here where I'm happy with it, the cable we're going to just account for, there's going to be some slop, and we're just going to have to call that as a variance. But if I measure down from here, we're going to do the metric system. Why? Because why not? So if you're measuring metrics, we're getting, call it 6 centimeters. But bottom of this, from this, for the same point we're measuring here, to where we want our housing end to end up, because we got to stick the part in that I just lost. It recesses a little bit. It recesses almost all the way. So we're just going to call this the end of this, even where we want to go, the end of our cable. And we're going to measure from there to there. So we get 235. So if we take off, how much was that? 6? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 35, 25, 75, yeah. So 175 is the distance that we need to cut off of the cable. So we're going to Freddy this dude back out. Make sure the end's all good. don't put this in to cut it. Get a set of proper cutters. Don't do like I'm going to do and cut it with a pair of these things because we're on camera and I'm too lazy to do anything else. Reach in here. Gonna measure 175 right there. Measure twice, cut once, because the bike shop's about to close and I don't have time to go there. 175. Alright, get this Allen head loose here and pull our shifty off, because yeah, you want to have that all mocked up first, pretty much where you're going to use it, because if not, you're going to lose it when you cut the cable length. And we're going to thread this through here, making sure we catch on the little roundy thing in the right direction. There's a open side and a closed side. You want to do it through the, well, they both have holes through them, but you want to do it to the side that's big because it has a little register reset cut in it and you want it to hit that. So pull it through here. And actually, this is a good point to use a little bit of T9. I'm just gonna stick the bottle in right here. You could actually, if you get a really small tube from something, make a little injector out of it. But I just want to give that a nice, good, healthy dose of T9. My chain lube, and it works really good as a cable lube too. We're going to put this on now. So cable in through here, around the corner. Be careful because there's that Teflon liner in this. You don't want to push that out. Don't thread this through at Mach 1. Having the T9 on it helps. It's not going to be, I can just feel it all over my fingers. It helps life of the cable, rusting, like I said, smoothness. Everything. Lube your stuff, people. I want to put the little ferrule on the end. Get this down here. Make sure you guys can see well. And again, don't get excited. Don't push, prod, whatever. Just get it all down, and then it matters that you get this all the way. This cable comes to right about there. Like I said, about as far as that goes into the aluminum, so they balance out pretty well. I'm gonna pull this all the way up here. Make sure you have all your tension out. Make sure that everything's lined up over here. Make sure you have no issues, because you want this to be, and just check it. You don't want to lose, if this is hanging out here, and you go to set everything up, and then you push this in, oh, it don't work very well. It's yeah, because you didn't set it up very well. So pull it all in tight like that. And this is why you wear eye protection. Now, because, not that I don't trust them or say that they're making a bad product or any of that, but I've pre-Loctite it up the little set screw I got. And I want to give that just a little start into here so we don't lose it. And pretty nifty on the back side there, they've given you the Allen, which is 3, so you're not twisting the cable when you're tightening the nut. Very, very nice feature. So this on here, I'm going to put that down through there, down through the hole. So by using the Allen off this side, I can see where the hole is here. I'm going to line it up to its 90 degrees out will be fine. So we'll turn it up, so now it's pointing at you guys. Now this should thread all the way down through. There she goes. Flick this out of here. I just like doing it this way, just because I'm me. I'm going to thread this all the way into here. And again, go up, check, make sure everything here is slack. You just got a little bit of adjustment here. I ran it all the way in right now. Just pull it out just a little bit. You know, for accidents and incidents, everything's free, everything's in the right spot. And I got my fingers wrapped up into it here, pulling all the tension that I can out of this cable. Everything's seated right. And I'm just gonna snug this up, and it's gonna kind of start to bite. And I'm gonna put this Allen in the back that they so conveniently provided. This is the only time I've ever seen a little ferrule on the end of a thing do this. We're just going to snug it up, and it's going to kind of take a set, so you don't want to get too excited, but you also want to make sure it's trying to get as close as you can. And let's give it a whirl. So by pulling this, oh man, that's smooth. It's going all the way down. I could feel it bottoming out here before the lever's bottoming out, and it's going all the way up. Now you want this to be, I'm sure they don't intend to be much load on this, because if you have any load, you're going to be half holding this up. So you want to see, like right now I have just a little bit of free play in my system. I get a millimeter or so of free play. That's what you want. You don't want it always pulling down on this the whole time, because if it is, it's just going to be half holding that, hanging that valve open, and that's not good for it. So now I'm just going to reach in here, put this on, and just snug it. And so far, the one thing that I will say about this kit that is kind of a letdown is they didn't include any cool way to finish up the end here. But I'm going to show you guys a trick. What we got here is a failure to communicate. Oh wait, no, this is shrink tube, and this is special shrink tube because it's marine grady, and it's got stickum inside. So it'd probably help if I clean this off some, but I'm just going to put this all the way down now that it's all tight. Remember, we got Loctite on there. Give it just a shrinkage up. And shrink all angles if you can, a shrinky tube. It'll like you better for it. But be mindful you are heating an air cartridge, so you don't want it to go boom. Don't heat the cartridge. So now I got it all shrinked. Push it up, give it a little squeeze, let that glue get good. And I'm gonna guess right about there. I'm giving it my best shot. Having proper bike shop tools makes a difference, but I'll show you on the end of this. It's not pretty, but it's going to seal that end up, keep it from turning into a medieval torture device, and hopefully maybe take care of a rattle point, because nobody likes rattles in their mountain bikes. So yeah, that's all trimmed up, that's all ready. No, it's not sour cream. This is my preferred white lithium, and if you guys don't like it, you can go ahead and I'm sure somebody won't. Tell me in the comments. It's fine by me. Like I said, make sure we don't have any galvanic reactions. And say goodbye to our dropper. Bye, dropper. Hopefully you serve us well as we send her into the abyss of the bike tube. Now you don't want to pull it in, but you don't want to get the cable kinked in behind, so just a balancing act down in, and oh, she's home. Adjust up the nut. Actually, this tube, I didn't put a set of verniers to it, but it's a little thick, and I'm just going to ball port this for now so we can get it tight, but it was a little bit thicker than the factory one. And if we stretch out the cable here, Oh, baby. Baby. She's gonna go, ain't she? She's gonna fit right in. Oh. Oh, it's good. My fingers are still a little greasy from the earlier endeavor. And I'm also stoked that I was able to get 2 cables into that hole. I didn't have to buy the 2-for-1. And if I go to the 1-buy later in the future, I'm golden. Just look at that. And I'm probably gonna have to redo my whole cockpit because this is factory and I'm not quite happy with it. But look at, we're dropper ready. All right. Well, I saved you guys the excitement of putting a seat clamp on. You know how to do that. So it takes a little bit of pressure to put down. And one thing I did learn is if I thought I'd just, give this a good little snugging because it wasn't going to move, it'll actually, this won't top out. It'll actually, if you push the button all the way up, you'll have to give it a little up. And that was because I had this too tight. So yeah, don't do that. So I'm going to push it down, get on the bike because I don't have pedals or shoes. She's down. Ooh, she's up. Put my weight on it here. See how it goes down smooth. Oh, there it is. Oh, a little sticky. All right, well, we might have to get used to that, but we'll see. But anyways, it wants to come up. Definitely don't use it as a suspension seat. Don't ride around with your finger on the button. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, tell me what I did wrong about all this. But this is my install. I think it went pretty smoothly. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm gonna play a little bit with my cables, tighten that up, put my cranks on so I have something to ride, and go ride. Hope you guys do too. Have a good one.